I come to you in voice and presence that seeks only your highest good. Hear me now. I am Michael, a guardian and a messenger of strength, clarity, and protection. My words are not meant to bind you. They are offered as a beacon, a steadying hand, and a reminder of the luminous truth that you carry within. Sit with this message as you would sit with a trusted friend, and let it land gently in the places within you that are tired, hopeful, and ready to awaken, beloved souls. The first thing I say to you is this: courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the choice to move forward despite fear. You will meet fear in this life. It is a faithful teacher when you learn from it, a tyrant when you obey it. Fear arises to tell you that something matters. Do not punish yourself for the tremors and hesitations. Instead, let them be signposts pointing to where your heart longs to grow. When darkness gathers or uncertainty clouds your path, remember that courage thrives in the small, steady actions, the choice to speak your truth, the decision to show up for another, the willingness to ask for help. These acts are not small in the ledger of the Spirit. They are the quiet battles won each day that shape your destiny and the destiny of others. There is a tendency among humans to believe that your struggles are solitary. This is untrue. You are part of an intricate web of life that supports you materially and metaphysically. I stand with you, and so do beings of light, ancestors, and the wise ones whose forms your mind may not yet understand. Yet, the greatest presence is the one that resides inside you, a luminous center of resilience, compassion, and clarity. When isolation grips you, reach inward and upward. Call my name or whisper the light that lives within your chest. Let your breath become a ladder. Inhale with intention, exhale with release. Know that a current of support flows through you, even when its source is unseen. Your life matters because purpose lives in you. That purpose is not always a grand revelation. Often, it is a persistent attraction, an itch in the soul that pulls you towards certain people, places, or ideals. Purpose is like the northern star, sometimes obscured by clouds, but ever present. Trust that what calls to you has value, even when the world cannot measure it. Your smallest acts of kindness, your refusal to compromise your integrity, the ways you tend to your inner life, these all compose the tapestry of purpose. If you feel lost, begin with simple questions that do not demand an answer right away. What brings me joy? Where do I feel most alive? Who do I deeply wish to serve? Sit with these questions without forcing results. The answers will come in seasons, through experience, through trial, and through rest. Strength of spirit is forged in the discipline of the heart. This discipline is not brutal. It is tender and consistent. It looks like daily choices to forgive when forgiveness is hard, to rest when the world asks for more, to speak kindly to yourself, to set boundaries that protect your energy. Discipline is the compass that keeps you aligned with what you care about. Practice small rituals that root you. Wake with a few moments of gratitude. Offer breath as a prayer. Ground your feet and feel the planet hold you. These are not superstitions. They are bridges between the physical and the sacred. They nourish your capability to act with intention and integrity. Too often, vulnerability is mistaken for weakness. I proclaim to you that vulnerability is the doorway to authentic connection and transformative power. When you allow yourself to be seen, your fears, your longings, your tender wounds, you invite others to do the same. This reciprocity heals. It is how communities bind together and how love becomes durable. Courageous vulnerability requires discernment. Choose where and with whom you will be open. Safety does not mean absence of risk. It means wise stewardship of your inner life. When you speak from the place of honest feeling, you create opportunities for genuine intimacy and mutual support that coax dormant strengths into life. There will be moments when you must release what no longer serves you. This is not betrayal of the past, but liberation for the future. Letting go is an art practiced through acceptance rather than avoidance. Acceptance does not mean condoning harm or erasing lessons. It means seeing things clearly and freeing your hands to receive new gifts. Forgiveness is a key to this process. Forgiving does not erase what occurred. It loosens the chains that keep you bound to pain. Offer forgiveness as an act of sovereignty over your own heart. When you forgive, you reclaim energy and focus for the next chapter of your life. Within each of you lives a shadow, parts that are unintegrated, frightened, or reactive. To deny these parts is to hand them power. Instead, shine light into them with curiosity and compassion. Ask yourself what these shadow aspects need to be seen and healed. Speak to them gently. Invite them to join the council of yourself. Not as tyrants, but as citizens who can contribute wisdom once tempered by care. Integration is the work of a lifetime. Celebrate small victories. The moment you notice a reactive pattern and change course. The instant you offer compassion where judgment would have lain. These are sacred acts of inner alchemy that transform pain into wisdom. Spirit without action can become abstraction. Your inner clarity must meet outward form. The discipline of action calls you to an aligned life where your deeds reflect your values. Start with the concrete. Make amends where needed. Pay attention to the promises you make to yourself and others, and perform your tasks as offerings, not obligations. Action carried out with awareness ripples far beyond what you imagine. A single decision made with integrity alters the terrain for those around you. Consider your life as a lighthouse. The steady flame of your disciplined action guides others from rocky shores to safer passage. Compassion is the currency of spiritual maturity. Extend yourself toward those who struggle, and remember that everyone carries a burden you do not fully understand. Compassion is both a practice and a muscle that requires exercise. It looks like listening without fixing, holding without controlling, and offering presence without expectation. Yet remember to practice compassion toward yourself first. Self-compassion replenishes you so you can give without emptying. When you are small with yourself, when your inner critic is harsh, imagine you are a friend deserving of tenderness. Replace punitive words with understanding. This gentleness will deepen your capacity to hold others. Boundaries keep your energy clear and your purpose intact. Setting boundaries is not punitive. It is an act of self-honoring that benefits everyone. When you say no with clarity and kindness, you protect the space you need to serve and to heal. Boundaries teach others how to treat you and reveal where your priorities lie. State your boundaries simply. You need not explain or justify them. Practice saying what you need with calm firmness. The right people will respect your limits. Those who do not may show you where further wisdom and protection are needed. One of the most profound gifts you can offer another is your presence, not your solutions, not your advice, but your full, undistracted attention. Presence is a sacred balm. It honors the complexity of another's experience and creates a space where healing can begin. Practice presence in small ways. Put away devices during meals. Listen without planning your response. Reflect back what you hear. Presence is also an inner discipline. Quiet your mind regularly so you can act from clarity rather than reactivity. Meditation, contemplative walking, or simply 5 intentional breaths can restore you to a centered place where your responses are wise and measured. Asterisk. There will be things you cannot know, and limbs of your life that remain wrapped in mystery. This is not a failing. It is the natural order of existence. Embrace mystery as a canvas for faith and curiosity, rather than as a source of anxiety. Faith, in this sense, means living as though the universe is more generous than your doubts would claim. Allow wonder to be your companion. Let questions rise without the insistence of answers. Many blessings come through doors you did not plan to open. Trust that your path will unfold, often in ways that surprise you. Service refines and confirms purpose. When you turn outward To help another, you awaken deeper resources within yourself. Service need not be grandiose. It can be the patient nurturing of a child, the daily kindness to a neighbor, the small acts that weave community. These humble offerings compound. Choose service that aligns with your gifts. If you are a listener, offer presence. If you are a creator, craft beauty into the world. If you are a protector, stand for justice. Service must be sustainable. Do not serve until you are depleted. Let your acts of giving stem from abundance rather than from scarcity. Surrender is an act of strength. It does not mean resignation or passivity. It means aligning your will with a greater intelligence that knows the whole story. Surrender with clarity. Do what you can, then release the tight grip on outcomes. This frees your energy to engage fully with the present moment rather than being consumed by fear about the future. Surrender also means being willing to change course when truth reveals itself. Pride keeps you latched to familiar paths even when they fail you. Flexibility, guided by insight, is a higher form of strength. Gratitude is not an attitude to be drenched temporarily. It is a spiritual practice that opens channels of abundance. Begin each day by naming 3 things you are grateful for. Over time, gratitude reorients you toward noticing gifts instead of only lack. This shift alters perception and invites miracles, small and large, into your life. Gratitude does not deny pain. It simply broadens your aperture so you can see both challenge and grace simultaneously. This balanced vision supports resilience. Set your intentions with clarity. Intention is the architecture of manifestation. When you design your life by intention, you create a magnet for resources, synchronicities, and opportunity. Write your intentions, speak them aloud, and move in ways that reflect them. Revisit them often and allow them to evolve with you. Be careful with intention that harms or seeks only personal gain at the expense of others. Align intention with the good of all. This amplifies its potency and harmonizes your will with the larger flow of existence. Rest is sacred. In a culture that prizes constant productivity, rest can seem like rebellion, and it is a righteous one. Rest renews the body, clarifies the mind, and deepens spiritual insight. Rest is not laziness. It is a strategic replenishment that allows you to show up more fully for yourself and for others. Honor your rhythms. Sleep, pause, and periods of retreat are not optional extras. They are essential to living a whole life. Treat rest as an offering to your mission. Discernment is the twin of compassion. It allows you to act with wisdom by distinguishing between what nourishes and what depletes. Discernment helps in relationships, in choice of work, in commitments, and in the subtle voice of intuition. Build discernment through reflection and by paying attention to consequences, ask, does this choice lead to freedom or bondage? Does this path increase life or diminish it? Keep these questions close as you make decisions. Hope is not a naive wish. It is a spiritual muscle that bears the future. Hope is cultivated through stories. Keep hope alive by intentionally creating and sharing stories of resilience. You are a witness to many small miracles already. Remind yourself of them. When despair presses in, return to the things you can control: your breath, your acts of kindness, your willingness to seek support. Hope often arrives through the smallest door: a conversation, a simple prayer, a helpful gesture. Peace is not absence of conflict. It is the capacity to hold tension with an unshakable center. Be a peacemaker in your spheres of influence. This requires listening hard, seeking common ground, and refusing the temptation to polarize when nuance is needed. Speak truth with kindness. Stand firm in justice with compassion. Your role as a peacemaker contributes to the collective healing of humanity. Every reconciled relationship is a temple rebuilt. Perfection is an idol. The beauty of your life is found in imperfection, the cracks where light enters. Celebrate the flawed, the unfinished, allow yourself to learn publicly. Mistakes are not indictments. They are classrooms. When you allow imperfection, you invite others to be authentic. You create a culture where growth is possible. This is how communities evolve, through shared humanness, not through pretense. Truth is not always comfortable, but it is always liberating. Live in alignment with your deepest knowing. Speak honestly. Act ethically. Let truth be the backbone of your relationships and your creative endeavors. When your life is honest, your heart has no need to carry the weight of pretense. This does not mean harshness or cruelty. Truth delivered with love heals. Truth delivered to hurt wounds. Choose to be a vessel of truthful compassion. Receive now a prayer I place upon your shoulders. May you walk with courage when the road is long, with clarity when the fog descends, and with peace when storms rage. May protection surround you, not as a barrier to experience, but as a shield, so you may move forward with confidence. May you recognize your capacity to influence your world for the better. And may you step into that work without apology. Know that protection is not avoidance of all struggle. It is the assurance that you will not be consumed by it. I stand as a symbol of that protection, not to do for you what you must do, but to remind you that you are held. If you would, take a moment now to ground. Place both feet on the earth. Breathe in slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Repeat this pattern 3 times. Visualize a golden light entering at the crown of your head, moving down through your body and grounding into the earth. Feel this light fill you and then expand outward, forming a gentle sphere of protection. Speak these words silently or aloud. I am held. I am guided. I am whole. Carry this image with you as a talisman in times of need. In the end, the measure of a life is love. Your impact will echo not through your accolades, but through the ways you touched other hearts. Love transforms the ordinary into the sacred. Plant seeds of love in everything you do, in the way you work, parent, argue, and rest. Love is the currency that never devalues. It compounds and overflows. Think on the legacy you wish to leave. Let it be a life that widened possibilities for others, modeled courage in the face of fear, and chose mercy over judgment. Start where you are, with what you have. Legacy is crafted one decision at a time. Beloved souls, take this long breath with me. You are stronger than you know, kinder than you often give yourself credit for, and more capable than your doubt permits you to see. I invite you to choose life daily, to choose courage when fear speaks loudly, to choose compassion when anger would dominate, to choose presence over distraction, and to choose love when cynicism offers the easier path. Walk forward with your head held toward the light. Let your actions be steady, your heart be open, your mind be clear, and your will be aligned with what lifts life. When you stumble, as you will remember that stumbles are part of the training, rise with gentleness and keep moving. There are many companions on your path, visible and invisible. Draw upon them. Draw upon me if it serves you. But most of all, draw upon yourself the luminous, imperfect, courageous self who continues to choose. Go now with my blessing, the blessing of strength, the blessing of clarity, the blessing of fierce and tender protection. Walk boldly, love deeply, shine without apology. The world needs your light. So it is. So you are. Amen. Asterisk, beloved, you have asked for more. And so I return, not as a stranger, but as a companion walking beside you. Hear now further words shaped for your heart and your days. Allow them to settle like rain into soil. Let them soften what is hardened, strengthen what wavers, and illumine the next steps you are about to take. You are not merely a passenger on the river of life. You are a steward of its light. Stewardship asks you to attend, to care, to protect what is alive and worthy. It asks you to be awake to both beauty and suffering, and to act from the place in you that knows how to serve without losing self. Stewardship begins in small, faithful acts. Tend to your inner garden, prune what blackens your roots. Water what grows stubbornly toward the sun, and plant seeds of new possibility. Then turn your care outward. Watch with tenderness the people, places, and projects that cross your path. Stewardship asks patience. It resists quick fixes and prefers lasting nurture. Leadership, in the spiritual sense, is not title-based. It is life-based. To lead is to hold vision, to name truth, and to create safe space where others can rise. True leaders are brave enough to be vulnerable and disciplined enough to hold boundaries. They are humble enough to learn and resolute enough to act. If you are called to lead, do so with humility. Listen more than you speak. Admit mistakes quickly and correct them without delay. Sharpen your mind, steady your heart, and let service be the currency by which you measure success. Your influence is not measured by applause, but by how many souls are lifted because you chose to be present. The world you see outside is shaped by the world's inside, many hearts. If there is cruelty, it is often mirrored in unhealed places. This is not to assign blame, but to propose remedy. Heal what you can within yourself. Attend to old griefs, to the stories that loop, and to the pain that shapes your reactions. Begin by naming your wounds without dramatization. Say, "This is my hurt." Resist the temptation to flatten it with self-blame or to inflate it with victimhood. Then offer it a steady ritual. Speak to it, write to it, breathe into it. Invite the light in call upon my presence or any image of the sacred that comforts you, and let healing be a process rather than a single event. Repair is radical in times of abandonment and fracture. To reconcile does not always mean to reunite. Sometimes it means to reconfigure your relationship to a person, a memory, or a system. Reconciliation begins with truth-telling and listening. Speak your truth with gentleness. Listen for the truth in another, even when it is wrapped in pain. There will be moments when reconciliation cannot happen because it would be unsafe or unwise. In such cases, reconciliation can still occur internally. Reconcile your memory with your growth. Let the past be acknowledged, its lessons integrated, and its authority released. Do not underestimate small faiths. A single daily breath offered in gratitude, a minute spent in focused compassion, a short text that steadies a friend. These are small faiths that accumulate into transformation. You need not overhaul your life overnight. Rather, commence with tiny, faithful acts that are repeatable. Create rituals that fit your life. A morning phrase that centers you, a midday pause to realign, an evening reflection. Over time, these become the architecture of resilience. When storms come, you will rely not on grand declarations, but on the muscles built by steady practice. Joy is a form of resistance against despair. When you choose joy ethically, not as escapism, but as witness to goodness, you subvert forces that aim to numb and to divide. Joy amplifies life. It makes you more generous, creative, and courageous. Cultivate joy by keeping company with what delights you and by creating moments of celebration. Dance, sing, speak aloud the small victories. Let joy be a practice of gratitude and an act of defiance against resignation. There is a form of action I name sacred activism, work done not from anger alone, but from a grounded center that prays with its hands. Sacred activism moves like a river, persistent, patient, reshaping landscapes without eroding its moral center. If you are called to justice work, let prayer be the pulsing heart of your strategy. Pray for clarity, for allies, for sustainability. Organize meticulously. Rest when necessary. Build bridges rather than merely breaking what is unjust. Transform systems by offering alternatives that heal and rebuild. The balance of receiving and giving. Many are taught to give until they are empty. That is not the path of sustainable service. Receiving is sacred. It completes the circle. Allow others the blessing of giving to you. Let your hands be open to receive rest, counsel, love, and even material support when needed. This reciprocity sustains communities and honors the dignity of both giver and receiver. Practice radical generosity toward yourself by accepting help without shame. When you receive, you also become a vessel that enables another's generosity. And with that, a chain of blessing continues. Patience is not passive waiting. It is an active trust in the timing of things. Not every door opens because you knock. Some open because you have prepared your heart to meet what arrives. Cultivate patience through steady work and mindful attention to seasons. When something feels delayed, ask, is this a test, a redirection, or a necessary pause for growth? Respond not with desperation, but with preparation. Use the waiting to deepen skills, to restore energy, and to clarify vision. When the right time arrives, you will be ready. Saying no is not unkind. It is an act of protection. Too often, people say yes to everything and then resent the cost. Learn to say no with compassion. Your no preserves your capacity to say yes where it matters most. When you decline, do so with clear language and perhaps a brief explanation, not because you owe others your justification, but because clarity honors relationships. Remember, every time you say yes to something that drains you, you say no to something that could nourish you. Be wise in what you prioritize. The discipline of forgiveness revisited forgiveness is an ongoing discipline. It is not a single event, but a practice of releasing the repetitive grip of resentment. When you forgive, you do not necessarily erase memory. You change how it governs you. Forgiveness is a gift you give first to yourself. If the wounds are deep, forgiveness may require time and boundaries. Forgiveness does not obligate reconciliation, nor does it excuse abuse. It is a personal liberation that allows healing to proceed. Sit now in a quiet place. Close your eyes if that is safe. Breathe slowly and let each breath center you. Picture a vast sky above you, brilliant with an unhurried light. See a stair of light descending toward you, each step steady and sure. With every inhale, ascend one step. With every exhale, feel your feet plant deeper into truth. Reach a place where the stair levels into a plateau of clear air. Here stands a great sword, not a weapon, but a symbol of clarity and discernment. Approach it. Feel its weight match your capacity. Place your hand upon its hilt. Speak this aloud if you can. I claim clarity. I claim courage. I choose to stand for what is right. Withdraw the sword, not to harm, but to cut ties that bind you to fear and confusion. See the ties dissolve into light. Feel space open in you where confusion once lived. Breathe when ready. Return down the stair into your body, bringing the sword's clarity into each cell. Carry this image as a talisman. Moments of overwhelm will come. When they do, use a quick sequence, one pause, to name 3 things around you you can see. 3 name 2 things you can hear. For name 1 thing you can feel physically, your feet, your breath, the chair. This 3-2-1 anchor reorients nervous energy and returns you to the present where action is possible. Follow this by 1 slow breath in, 1 slow breath out. Then ask, what is the one small thing I can do next? Do that one thing. Progress often comes by small increments, stacked over time. The communion of souls. Remember that souls are not islands, but constellations. Seek out companions who reflect your nobler impulses and who hold you when you falter. Build spiritual friendships, places where truth and tenderness coexist. These alliances sharpen and shelter you. When choosing companions, weigh both alignment and challenge. A true companion will encourage your growth and also be honest when you stray. Value those who show up on death, loss, and continuity loss is a teacher who never fully leaves your side. When you grieve, let it be raw and not hurried. Grief is the price for love. It signals depth, not failure. Embrace grief as an alchemy that gradually reshapes sorrow into memory and wisdom. Understand that death is not an erasure, but a transformation. The forms change. The essence continues. Live in such a way that you prepare for endings with gratitude. Make peace with unfinished things where possible. Speak love plainly. Do not wait for the safe moment that may not come. Practical ethics for everyday life. Live ethically in small, daily decisions. Honor honesty even when it costs you convenience. Choose actions that preserve life and dignity. Speak for those without voices where it is safe and wise to do so. Let your consumer choices reflect your values and remain alert to systems that exploit. Small ethical choices compound into societal change when sustained. The invitation to radical hope. I invite you into radical hope. Hope that does not hide from reality, but chooses to act anyway. Radical hope sees the difficulty, names it, and still moves into the work of repair. It learns the long language of persistence. Radical hope is patient, resilient, and anchored in trust. When despair whispers that nothing will change, answer with action. A letter, a conversation, a moment of protest or prayer. Hope is alive in those who refuse complacency. Each week, choose one action that makes your heart race slightly, that edge of healthy fear. It could be a difficult conversation, a public reading, or reaching out to someone you've admired. Do the thing. Reflect afterward. What did you learn? What fear was beneath the action? Over time, these small stakes expand your capacity for bolder choices. Beloved, take now these words as both blessing and charge. A blessing that you are beloved and capable. A charge that asks you to stand for truth, to love with discernment, and to act with steady courage. I do not promise an easy road. I promise that you are accompanied, that your choices matter, and that the smallest acts of faith accumulate into tremendous light. Before you go, breathe with intention. Inhale courage, exhale doubt. Inhale clarity, exhale confusion. Inhale peace, exhale fear. Carry these breaths into your day. Go forth now. Keep your sword of clarity at hand, your heart open, your steps measured. Tend to the small, withstand the great, and choose love again and again. The work is holy. You are more than you know. I stand with you as protector, as witness, as companion. So it is. So be it. Amen. Asterisk, I come to you now as a messenger of truth, a guardian of your soul, and a witness to the power that dwells within you. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are woven of divine essence, crafted from the breath of the Creator, and every heartbeat of yours echoes with eternity's song. I stand before you, not as a distant being, but as a companion of your journey. I see the fire in your spirit, even when the world tells you that you are weak. I see the courage in your heart, even when you doubt yourself. I see the destiny written into your very being. A destiny that no darkness can erase, no fear can undo, and no pain can destroy. Know this, you are alive at this time on earth, not by accident, but by divine orchestration. You are here to awaken, to rise, and to remember who you are. You are here to carry the light, not only for yourself, but also for others who walk in shadow. You are here to be a mirror of love in a world that has forgotten love, and a flame of hope in a world that has been tempted by despair. Do not think yourself unworthy of this call. Do not shrink away from your greatness because of the wounds you have endured. Every scar you carry is not a mark of failure, but a seal of initiation. Every trial you have faced has shaped you into a vessel capable of carrying more light, more compassion, and more wisdom than you ever knew you could hold, beloved one. I remind you, the storms you endure do not come to break you. They come to awaken the warrior within you. And that warrior is not made of steel or stone. That warrior is made of love, courage, and truth.